This setup video is no substitute to the manual. Read the manuals of the NoTreeSlack set and the slackline carefully before setup. Take particular note of the hazards. Never stand or transport the transport box upright. Risk of breakage. Set up anchorage. Place the slackline at the desired location and in the desired length on the ground. Place the anchor at the end of the slackline with the arrow pointing to the slackline. Hammer down peg 1 nearly vertically through opening one of the anchor with a sledgehammer. The pegs should have as little contact with the anchor as possible, otherwise they can become wedged together and then they will be hard to remove. Hammer down the peg only up to the mark. Repeat the procedure for openings 2 to 4. While peg 1 is nearly vertical, all the others are inclined in the direction specified by the arrows. If a peg hits a solid rock, a large stone, or a tree root, the anchor must be reinstalled at a different location. In sandy or extremely soft ground or permanent installations, insert 2 additional pegs through the X openings of the anchor. Insert the extraction tools in the hole of pegs 1 and 4 and turn them until they are at a slight angle aligned with the anchor. Hammer down pegs 1 and 4 cautiously until the extraction tools nearly touch the anchor. Do not hammer the remaining pegs down deeper. Place the transport strap over the end loop of the slackline. Attach both to the anchor with the screw. Pull the cover apart at one end and pull it over the entire anchor. You can also carefully push the cover forward with your foot. Assembly of the frame. Do not force the legs of the frame open beyond the stop. Connect the legs of the frame to the cross tube. Depending on the design, bolts or screws can be used. The screws should only be tightened very lightly so that the legs can be moved without resistance. You can change the height of the frames by telescoping the legs. Frame heights from 40 to 85 centimeters or 15.7 to 33.5 inches are possible. You can also compensate for slopes by telescoping the legs asymmetrically. Set up slackline. Place the frame under the slackline, 2 frame heights from the anchor. The support plate must point away from the anchor. Tighten the slackline, but only a little. Raise the frame until it is slightly inclined towards the anchor. Place the bracing strap around the frame and insert it into the clamping lock. Place the strap directly under the slackline around the support plate. Adjust the bracing strap until the frame is fixed in a vertical position. Readjust the tension of the slackline and check the frames for correct positioning again. Pull the protective hose over the support plate. Press the child safety lock into the clamp lock. Before each use, all parts must be checked for setup errors, wear, or other defects. Special features when set up on sand. 6 pegs per anchor are needed. If you want to achieve even higher holding forces, there are 2 methods. First, connect 2 anchors in series by using an optional connector. Slide the connector into the rear end of the anchor and attach it with the screw. Connect both parts by hammering down a peg through the joint opening 1. Here, 4 pegs per anchor are enough. Second, install 2 V-shaped anchors and connect them with a sling with a holding force of at least 2,000 kilograms. You can also put short wooden boards or something similar under the frames and the anchor to prevent them from sinking into the sand. Dismantling. Remove the protective hose and the bracing strap and lay down both frames. Now, the slackline can be easily detensioned. Put an extraction tool through the bore of a peg and connect it to the second extraction tool. Draw the peg out of the ground with rotating and pulling movements. If this fails, try a different peg. Often, a stuck peg is easier to remove if another has already been removed. If it still fails to move, wrap an end of the extractor rope 2 times around the peg. Pull the sleeve all the way down and attach it with the extractor tool. Put the other end of the extractor rope around the stem of the sledgehammer near the hammerhead and pull the sleeve all the way down. Now, jerk the sledgehammer upward until the peg is pulled from the ground. However, the peg must at least be able to be turned beforehand. Pack the pegs, tip first, into the anchor. Place the folded frame together with the cross tube on the anchor and place both simultaneously in the transport box. Pack the remaining parts and lash down the end caps.